Well, hello, and welcome to Life After 3D, episode 27. You will notice I've lost the 3. I don't know what's happened to it. So we're going to continue until I find the 3. Right, this is a very different one because I need your help. As some of you might be aware, if you've been watching these quite regularly, I've spent the last, nearly 2 years working on my next music album called The Downward Spiral. The album's being submitted for release. It's due out either Thursday or Friday at the time of recording. I'm still waiting for the physical copies to come from the publisher. They're sort of due now-ish. Hopefully they'll arrive in time. If not, I'll be shouting at somebody. I've currently got a few music videos in production. The production quality is far higher than the last album was. Even though I'm still working on zero budget, I've found a few resources that enable me to do a better job. Here's where I need your help before we cover all the other stuff. The first track on the album is called Death on the Streets, and then in brackets, Tax the Rich. Let me explain what it's about. It's a very political song that tries to make sense of the world we're living in at the moment. It's quite angry. The fact that you've got people having to choose between food or heating. Bills are getting higher. You know, over here, the NHS is nearly on its fucking knees because of mismanagement. You know, the fact that sometimes you have people who are working 2 or 3 jobs and still cannot afford to feed their families. You've got children going hungry. You've got old people who have had to switch the heating off. Food banks all over the place. And this is not just a UK thing. Although some things are UK specific, this goes far bigger. This is the whole point of this. I've made a very hard-hitting video. There are a few bits I need some help with, and it's very easy. All I need you to do, if you feel, once I've explained a little bit further in depth about this, you want to take part, just get yourself about A4 lump of cardboard or something, or paper, and you can write one of a few phrases on. The main one I need is tax the rich, because that's part of the chorus. You can also write help, because let's face it, something needs to fucking give here, or something that's appropriate. Now, if you're a company and you would like to approve the lyrics first before you lend your name to it, just send me a message. I'm absolutely fine with that. You can listen to the song. I might even be able to show you the rough cut without the bits I need. And I'll promise you it's a very good video. Now, what do I mean by the rich? Well, I don't mean people who have done well for themselves and might have a really nice house and a couple of nice cars. That is not what I'm on about. What I'm on about is the fact that politicians have gaslit the populace of the Western world for decades to make it believe it's all our fault. It's because we're not very good at handling money or whatever, or we're not clever enough. When the solution is very simple. All we need to do is just tax the super rich and the large corporations. I'm not about somebody who might have 1 or 2 mil. I'm on about the people who make more money in 1 minute than anybody who watches this video will make in a lifetime. They pay next to no tax. All I'm saying is the best solution is to fairly, there's the key word, tax the super rich and the corporations. With the amount of money that would bring in, that would solve the majority of the world's problems. So that's the thought behind it. I'll go through some of the other stuff on the album. The Downward Spiral, it's a loose concept. It's very hard to put into words what I mean. It started off because I had one song that was about my clinical depression. And I was called The Downward Spiral. You can tell when it's starting and how dark it's going to go. Then I started thinking of other things. Times in your life where your life is outside of your own control because of the actions of others. That might be a government. That might be somebody you know being really ill or dying. You know, it could be any one of a number of things that will send you down that rabbit hole. Sometimes it's your own really bad decisions. So let's cover a couple of things I'll explain just in detail off the album. There's 13 songs. So we've covered Death on the Streets. The second track is called Gotta Reach the Bottom. This is a song I wrote for a friend back in 1999. Although it's been recorded, it was never recorded correctly. It never had vocals that I had ready because I didn't think I could sing. Unfortunately, that person's not around anymore, but I thought it's quite a fitting song. And it's it's about alcoholism, basically, and making bad life decisions. Now, Stone on My Shoe, I'll put that one up a while ago. That was the one with the AI video. Yeah. That's basically Unrequited Love, that one. That was one of the first songs I had for the album. Now, when the day is done, the fourth track is an old Nick Drake tune. I have some wonderful footage that my good friend Zab Anderson handed over that I've edited into a very nice video. You're going to like that one. So then we've got ones that you might remember from when I very first wrote them. I put just a version of just me and the acoustic guitar, Sunday Morning Jesus. This is, I suppose, an outlier of the whole album because it doesn't sort of fit into the theme. But it's about a bloke, who may or may not be me, who wakes up on a Sunday morning with a cracking hangover and his wife insists on giving him a blowjob. And it's all about that. So it's a bit tongue-in-cheek. And no, it's not based on reality. There's another one, track 6, The Long Goodbye, which is about dealing with a family member with dementia. It goes quite deeply into it. Then we've got a couple that are sort of interesting ones about when people make really bad decisions. And I thought this one's quite good if I can get a video together before Halloween. It's called Ed Gein's Lullaby. Now, those of you who know Ed Gein, the serial killer, and how he's the basis for Psycho, for Leatherface, and for a lot of other people, he was a fucked up dude, right? And I've made a lullaby about it, and it's quite creepy. Then there's Face Upon the Wall, sort of a continuation about that. It's about sort of a guy who's a serial killer, but he thinks he's doing the right thing, getting rid of people who are child abusers. He's trying to get rid of these people. He's doing the right thing in his head, but he's still going down the spiral. Then there's the second cover version. There's only 2 on the entire albums, and this is the Gallus Pole, originally by Leadbelly. Yes, I know Led Zeppelin did a version. This sounds absolutely fucking nothing like it because I'm basing it off the original and then changing it accordingly. There's one after that's called Hangman's Daughter, which is a tune that fell into my head sort of beginning of the year. Track 11, Bad Day. Speaks for itself. It's about my depression, right? But also about when you get bad news and you think, oh, I can handle this. I'll just crack on. Whatever. Life's not that bad. So it's actually quite a positive song. You'll find a lot of these songs sound very positive, even though they've got some dark subjects. Track 12 is the one song I'm worried about. Because if you take it out of context and you do not listen to it all the way through, you will think this is how I think. And it's not. It's called The Incel. Now, a little story about this is when, during the COVID stuff and all the lockdowns, I used to watch the videos by this guy on YouTube called Fatal Walter. And it was about what they used to call nice guys. You've probably seen this all. An incel, basically. And they have a very fucked up way of thinking and think that women are basically property and should do as they're told. They should never turn down any man, that they have a right to have sex with women, all this sort of thing. So the first part of this song is from an incel's point of view. And at the end, it does a 180 from the other side. That's what worries me if it's out of context. It might be one of the only ones I have to put a warning about because I'm worried that people might think that's how I think. And the last one's The Downward Spiral, the title track off the album. And it's just, explaining sort of a day in the life of Wayne, really, when I'm having a dark day. And it ends on that. The digital version will have a radio edit of Death on the Streets because there are 2 very mild swear words in it. And as my intention is to try and get a lot of push behind this to open a conversation, a dialogue, make people realise, look, you've been gaslit by governments of all sides. This is the one time where it doesn't matter where you fall on the political spectrum. Everybody agrees right now there's some fucked up shit going on, right? And we're being blamed for all this stuff. And, there's stuff going over there. And, look, the world's run by big corporations now. It has been for a long time in the Western world. Although they should be public servants, they're not. They're a servant of corporations. So that's what I'm trying to get over. I've been talking to a few people that are connected on various areas of the political spectrum. I'm trying to make sure this gets as much support and push as I can. I'm trying to open a dialogue so that people at least realise there's more of us than there are of them. That should scare them. Now, as I say, if you can help out, great. Just it only has to be about 5-10 seconds long. Try not to look too happy because it's supposed to be like to, get some action here, or at least get some sort of movement going for people to be pissed off. And we have every right to be pissed off, really. So yeah, of course, as I'm at the end of an album release, I've just spent a day making these things called animated canvases for each song on Spotify. What a thankless fucking job that is. 13 tracks, you've got to make these animated bloody things, and then trying to get the correct frame rate, the exact dimensions, only to put it through Handbrake, and Handbrake goes, no, fuck you, I want to use these dimensions, which means you've then got to encode it again. That's what my day's been today. That and replying to emails. So we'll see what goes on. I hope some of you can help. I'm especially interested in any local businesses because there's a lot of people there that I know think along the same lines as me. I also understand if you do not want your business to be tied to what could be a very hot topic coming up politically. But I think it's safe to say that as weather gets colder and people start dying because they can't afford to heat their houses, more people are going to get angry. And that's why it's called Death on the Streets. Right, on that lovely little note, I will see you all next time. I will encode this bloody thing today. I feel like I've spent my life encoding today. And I'll see you all next time. The album will be out. It's got a very nice cover, by the way. There's a lot of work went into the cover and the design. For once, I actually put some serious effort into it. Well, if you look carefully, there's a couple of typos there. Right, I'm Wayne Robson. This has been Life After 3D, episode 27. If you can't help, great. If you need to find out what my email address is to get in contact, just go on either dash.slash.net or more importantly, waynerobson.com, which is where the music is, or on my Facebook, on my Twitter, or whatever. You know, it's all the links are all down there in the thing. Bye-bye.